Hey everyone, unfortunately my rigs went down last night. Well, not my rigs, my rig number 3 to be specific. It went down last night, so I want to talk about it in this video. Now, I talked about some downtime a few days ago in a different video. That was more of a configuration issue more than anything else, and what had happened at the time, you know, the rigs were still running, but because my router had assigned a new IP address to all of those computers, to all those rigs, I had to reassign those IP addresses in Awesome Miner. So it was more of a configuration issue. Everything was running okay. The GPUs were running fine. There was no issues really. It was really just a kind of silly mistake that I made, that I didn't realise that the IP addresses would be reassigned about 8 or 9 hours after I actually reset the router. Now, what happened last night was different, and that's why I've got this other monitor here. That's why I've got the keyboard and the mouse here. I use this keyboard and mouse when I'm doing anything with my rig. This monitor is normally off. Whenever I'm, recording a video here, I've got the ultra-wide monitor, I've got the webcams and all that, but I normally keep this off. I turn this on when I'm doing a live stream because, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to juggle when you're doing a live stream, and then I move some windows over here. But right now, this isn't an extension of my main PC. This is actually rig 3, and I've got it connected up right now, and you can see it's mining away. Now, the reason I had to connect it up is because rig 3 went down. It went down last night. I think it was about 9 or 10 o'clock, and that was the only rig that went down, and I didn't know what happened. I connected everything up, couldn't see anything. The fan was spinning, but for the CPU, but the power fan wasn't working. And today I still don't know what went wrong. I don't know what caused the issue, but what I do know is that I couldn't load the PC. I was switching it on, I was switching it off, and kind of switching it on and off again, trying to fix it. Couldn't get it working, and what I had to do was basically just reset the battery. I had to unplug all my GPU adapters to check everything. I got it working. I went back in, I went into the BIOS, and then I saw what happened. For whatever reason, the BIOS had been reset. Now, I don't know if the BIOS had been reset because of a bug, because of a power surge, because of I don't know what, but whatever caused the rig to go down, the BIOS was reset. So I had to go back in and I had to change all the PCH configuration from Gen 3 to Gen 2. I had to enable 4G encoding. There was a few things like that I had to do. I had to tweak a lot of settings. Basically what you would do when you set up your rig for the first time. Now, when I went back in, it was only showing 7 GPUs at first. Now, this was a problem that a lot of people experience with the Asus 2Z27. Let me see this. Where is it? The Asus Prime Z270A. Sorry, I got that wrong there. A lot of people have that problem because you can put like 6 or 7 GPUs there, but for the 8th, you need to use an M2 adapter. And it's normally the 8th one that causes the problem. And it was the 8th one that was causing the problem. Yesterday, it wasn't showing up, so I was only able to mine with 7 GPUs for a few hours. So I tried to troubleshoot it. I thought this was an issue with the BIOS more than anything else. I changed a few configuration options. But then I went back to square one, shut off the computer again, and I just checked every single connection. I pushed every USB cable in from the PCI Express risers. I pushed every power cable back in. I checked the power cable in every GPU, switched it back on, and it was working. I don't know what caused the issue. It could have, as far as the 8th GPU not showing, could have just been a loose power connection by the sounds of it. But as far as what actually reset it in the first place, what put my rigs down, what made the BIOS reset, I don't know. I checked the version and it didn't look like there was a new version installed, so I don't know what caused it. But it is a stark reminder. It is a stark reminder that when you are running a GPU mining rig or multiple rigs, things can go wrong. By and large, the last few months, I've had next to no problems. The issue with the IP address was my own fault the other day. But apart from that, my rigs run all the time. No problems at all. There's been once or twice when the rigs have went down, and it's because I've disabled Windows, but Windows has decided to disable the Windows update. But Windows has decided, hey, I'm going to update anyway. I don't know why it does that, because I've manually disabled it in services. But it does it when there's a big update, Windows just says, well, I'm updating anyway. Apart from those times though, my rigs have been up 24 hours a day. There's been no problems at all. But when it happened last night, it was a stark reminder that when you've got GPU rigs, you have to be ready to deal with things. There might be a technical issue, it might be a configuration issue, but you have to be ready to deal with things. It's very different to someone, for example, having an ASIC miner or just buying HashPower on NiceHash or mining rig rentals. If something's wrong, you need to fix it because you're losing money. And what I did remember quite quickly was that moving around the BIOS area, an area where I was so experienced with, you know, because I'd set up 4 different mining rigs with this motherboard, and I'd set up the BIOS for it, and I could do it quickly, and then I was going back in again, checking every screen, going, is that right? Is that right? This is the thing, you know, you go back in, you've not seen these screens for a couple of months, and it's not going back to square one, but you do need a kind of refresher course, almost. So thankfully, I did manage to get it resolved. I was concerned it was maybe a fried motherboard. There was a CPU red LED coming on at one point as well. Thankfully, I got it resolved. I don't know what caused it. I really don't know what caused it, but if my advice to anyone who goes through this, and if you guys mine, if you GPU mine, and I know a lot of you guys do, then what you should really do when this happens is calm yourself and just go back to square one. Check everything. If for any reason you can't load the computer, best thing to do is switch everything off, take the battery out, you know, take the CMOS battery out for a while, put it back in, take all the GPUs out, you know, all the connections, all the USB connections from the GPUs, all the risers, take them out, load it up with just a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor, try and get into the BIOS area, check everything is okay there, log in if you can, make sure that Windows is okay, then shut off your computer, connect your GPUs again, and then connect back up again. As you guys know, GPU mining, when it's running great, it's fantastic, but when things go wrong, you need to reset, and it is a game of trial and error. You need to, you know, you need to go through every single step that you did when you set up your GPU mining rig. And, you know, I've talked about this before, about people who just buy pre-built GPU mining rigs. And I know why some people do this, because, you know, for time, they don't have the time to sit investigating and, you know, do all these things with GPU mining rigs and all that, and spending time building things up. But I strongly believe that if you want to mine with GPUs, you really should do it yourself. Because if you buy a pre-built GPU mining rig and you don't know how it's built and you don't know how it's configured, when something goes wrong like it did for me last night, well, you're kind of screwed, and then you need to go back and research and do all the homework you should have done in the first place. So thanks for watching, guys. I just thought I'd share this story because I spent about 3 or 4 hours on this last night, so I thought I would share it. Thankfully, it's all up and running. In fact, I'll turn this around. They're all up and running, guys. They're all up and running. Right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all in the next one. I'm looking there instead of there. Sorry. Right. Speak to you later, guys. Cheers.